When we start talking about physiology, we are basically talking about how the human body works and how all its parts stay active and connected in a way that keeps us alive. And sometimes it helps to think about the body as a place where many small things are happening at the same time, and each one depends on the other. And when I say physiology, I mean the study of functions, so it is less about what a structure looks like and more about what it actually does. Because understanding the work behind the structure makes the whole system easier to understand as we go forward. And when you understand how things work on the inside, it becomes easier to make sense of what happens when something stops working properly or when the body tries to adjust to something new. Here I want to explain the basic areas that physiology deals with. And you will notice that the body is always trying to maintain balance through different processes, and these processes keep you stable even when things around you change. And physiology looks at how cells communicate, how organs respond, how energy is used, and how the body controls things like temperature and blood pressure. And even though these things sound detailed, they follow a simple idea where every system has a job and it keeps doing it to support the whole body. And the more you understand these jobs, the easier it gets to understand each system later when we talk about the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, and everything else. Sometimes people ask why they should learn physiology, and the answer is simple because you cannot understand the body or any medical topic unless you know how the body normally works. And once you understand the normal state, you can understand what happens when things go wrong. And physiology helps you see connections, like how breathing affects the heart and how food affects hormones. And when you see these connections, you understand the body as one unit instead of separate chapters. And this is something that helps a lot when you read or work in any health field, because everything goes back to how the body maintains its functions. To understand physiology in a clear way, it helps to follow something we call levels of organization, which is basically a simple way of explaining how the body builds itself step by step, starting from very small units and moving toward the full human body. And when you think about it this way, things make more sense because each level depends on the previous one, and the function at the end is a combined work of everything below it. And I will walk through these levels slowly because the idea becomes easier when you picture the layers building on top of one another. The first level is the chemical level, and this includes atoms and molecules, which are the smallest building blocks of the body. And even though they are tiny, they make everything else possible because molecules form the structure of cells and allow chemical reactions to take place. And here we are talking about things like water, ions, proteins, and many other molecules that the body uses all the time without us noticing, and they set the foundation for every function that comes later. Once molecules join together, they form cells, and cells are the basic units of life. And every process in your body depends on how cells work. And different cells have different shapes and roles, like nerve cells carrying signals or muscle cells helping movement. But all cells follow the same idea, where they take in nutrients, produce energy, and communicate with other cells. And this is the level where physiology really becomes interesting because this is where actual function begins to appear in a clear form. When similar cell groups together, they form tissues, and the body has four main types of tissues, which are epithelial tissues, connective tissues, muscle tissues, and nervous tissues. And each tissue type supports the body in its own way. For example, epithelial tissues covers surfaces. Connective tissues supports and connects parts of the body. Muscle tissues helps movement and nervous tissues send signals. And when you picture these tissues working together, it becomes easier to understand how organs later take shape. At this level, different tissues come together to form an organ, and each organ has a specific job, like the heart pumping blood or the stomach breaking down food. And the reason organs can do these tasks is because they are made from different tissues working together in one coordinated structure. And when you think about an organ, you can think about it as a small team where each tissue plays its role, but all of them contribute to one final function. The next step is the organ system level, which means organs that work together to perform a larger function, like the digestive system, which includes the stomach, intestines, liver, and pancreas, or the respiratory system, which includes the lungs and airways. And thinking in systems help you understand how the body organizes itself to handle complex tasks, because no single organ can do everything on its own. So systems allow the body to manage many processes smoothly. The final level is the organism level, which means the complete human body where all systems work together as one living unit. And here can you see that everything we talked about comes together, starting from atoms moving all the way to a full person who breathes, moves, thinks, and responds to the environment. And this level reminds you that the body is never working in isolation, because every action you take depends on thousands of small functions happening inside at the same time.